Hello everyone. I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you another live paper crafting class. It's today is the same day as it was the last live. Today is Wednesday, April 19th, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. as I'm coming to you live. This is part 2 of 2 videos. At 11 a.m. today, I broadcasted and shared 4 of 6 cards that I made with the latest paper pumpkin kit called All the Little Things. That was the April 2023 paper pumpkin kit. And I ran out of time. I couldn't fit it all in an hour. So I had lunch and now we're back. Hopefully all of you had a good break too. And thank you for coming back. I see so many that said that they actually made some of the cards and returned for this second part. So how fun is that? We have Lisa Marshall with us on YouTube. She is helping to moderate because on YouTube, which is different than Facebook, I can't go back in and actually respond to any of the live comments. So we have Lisa Marshall there to help answer questions. If you have a question, you can tag her. I see that Rosie just did that. You put an @ sign, so the A with the circle around it, and then start immediately typing her name, Lisa Marshall. Her name will pop up. You click on it, and then she'll be able to see your comments stand out from other comments. If you don't know how to tag, that's okay. Just ask your question and eventually, hopefully, she will find it. You can always ask more than once. So let's go down to the desktop really quick. I just want to show you what a paper pumpkin kit looks like. This is the latest paper pumpkin kit called All the Little Things. These are monthly kits. They come to your mailbox monthly, and you can choose to get one kit. You can choose to get a kit 1 month, skip 3 months, get another kit. You get to decide how you get your subscription. You don't have to commit to a certain number of months. You can just get them month to month and enjoy whenever you have a chance. They're fun because they have everything that you need inside of them. They have a little flyer that shows what the project looks like, the intended project, and inside are the directions, full color, without too many words so that you're able to follow the directions even if you don't speak English. On the back side are other resources like coordinating colors, a link to the how-to video so that you can follow along with how Stampin' Up! Intends for you to make these cards. And then you get all the supplies you need. You get ink, you get stamps, you get embellishments, you get adhesive, you have twine and all the fun stuff that you need in order to make the project. You literally only need to bring in your clear blocks, and you get a free one with your first ever kit, and scissors, just a little paper snips type of scissors, and you should be able to make everything as intended. I have to hit a little button up here because it's telling I do not have smooth Wi-Fi, and hopefully that will fix it. Hopefully we won't have issues. We didn't with the first video, yay. I'm going to close up this box that has a bunch of fun goodies in it because I already opened another box, and we'll make sure that we just pull from that right now. These are the first 4 cards that I created, and they're different than the cards that you see in the kit directions. What I'm doing is I'm doubling the cards in the kit. So I'm adding basic white cardstock and I'm adding in basic white envelopes because I'm cutting up the kit envelopes because they have such pretty blue colors to them. So I'm using the envelopes and all the kit card pieces, and I'm stretching them by adding in that extra cardstock and those extra envelopes so that I can double the cards from the kit. Normally the kit makes 9. We're making 18 cards, or for this video, I'm making 6, and then what you would do is just multiply that by 3 if you want to do that with all your kit cards. So, for those of you that cannot get paper pumpkin kits, outside of North America, the subscription to Paper Pumpkin is not available. So this kit might not be available in all the Stampin' Up! Markets that are currently watching this video, and I apologize for that. That is something that Stampin' Up! Has tried over the years to figure out how to get to work, and it's just they have their hands tied somewhere because otherwise they would have gotten it to work somewhere. But if you do not get these kits, I swear you can use these ideas with other kits or with other decorative envelopes or other Stampin' Up! Supplies or other crafting supplies that you might have on hand. So please stay tuned in so that you can see how we do this. What else do I want to mention before we get going here? I think that's it. So I'm just going to dive in. So let's see here. In order, these are 4 of the envelopes because we made 4 cards, so 4 envelopes. We made this card first. This one is like a pocket card. So these come from the first video. And you can see why it's called a pocket card. We took and we revised the envelope to make that the base of the card. This now fits into one of our standard size envelopes, so you can mail it. And you can see that this is lifted up on dimensionals, so it can be seen on the outside and the inside piece of the card. And that way you can write on the inside pocket, but also enjoy that flower on the outside. This is the second card that we made. This one is a fun fold card that opens like this. And you can see I cut up a little portion of the extra flower because you get this plus, bring it back in here, this one. And I cut off that section there so this was flat, but then I used the other piece and cut that in half to fill out these areas here. And we have this fun celebratory card for our card number 2. This is another one where I used the envelope and I took and cut it, I sealed it and then cut it down so that both layers would eventually fit inside the fold out piece here. This is a Z-fold card. I took this piece that comes in the kit and I cut it into 2 because normally it's all one continuous piece. And I cut it into 2 pieces and added one of those extra little fun flowers because you get 3 of those, and made 2 cards here. So this is just a Z-fold card. Z-fold cards are so fun. And then this one here is an easel card. So it props against that piece here and you have this beautiful easel card ready to give to somebody. And you can, write your private little message on the inside, but say, a fitting sentiment here that other people can see, because this is obviously a display card. So we're now going to work on the last 2 of the 6 cards. And again, if you love these alternatives, you can do this 3 times and make 18 cards from the pieces in your kit. All right. Okay, you ready? So for this next card, I think I'm gonna make the first one twice. So I'm just gonna show you, this is how you prepare this piece. It comes with all these negative little sections that you can cut out, and you could certainly do something with these, I'm sure, right? They could, get shredded up and become confetti, or, think of punch art, like that could be the nose on an animal. I don't know. Ooh, fire, a flame for a fire if you color it in orange. There's so many things you can see if you use your imagination. So we're going to prepare all these pieces, and then we're going to take this base piece here and we're going to cut it. With this card style, it's called the floating frame. Normally, you would need to do some other steps beforehand, which I'll show you the second time around. But because this whole piece is connected completely and it's not separate little pieces like you normally get for a floating frame card, you don't have to worry about doing those extra steps. So I'm going to show you how easy you can make it for the first time through. We're going to cut this. This piece right now fits onto, and I'm just going to check here. Oh, it is a little bit smaller, isn't it? Oh, it is a little bit smaller. Silly me. That's okay. It's a little bit smaller, so maybe it will be. But you know what? We have the frame around it. Rachel's still thinking out loud to herself before she even, yeah, she should have been ready. Okay, but you can see there's a little bit of an edge here showing around the outside. So, but the thing that's going to help is it's going to all hold together real stiff because of the outside frame. So let's go ahead and cut, and we're going to cut, and I'm just going to check here on my other one. I think I cut that one. Shh, don't tell anybody I'm peeking. Okay, 3/4 of an inch. We'll do the same on this one. So we're going to cut 3/4 of an inch in. So I'm moving the edge of this to the 3/4 of an inch mark. Zoom in here so you can see better. Oh, foiled things would be great, wouldn't they, Emma? Sorry, I agree with you. I love the foil. So we're moving this edge to 3/4 inch, and then we're going to start 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. So instead of cutting here, we're going to start the blade here, and we're going to cut to there. And some of this might fall off. That's okay. All right, so we're gonna start here about 4.5 inches. We're gonna slice carefully, make sure you have a good sharp blade. Lift up, and hey, you know what? If this fails, then we just do the other idea, which I had in mind, which I was gonna show you, but I wanna show you an easier way to do it. So now 3/4 of an inch again. We start here, and we cut. And see, there's already a little leaf piece that's getting cut off. We're gonna save that, and we're gonna set that over here because we do not wanna forget to put that back in. Now let's turn it this way, and we're gonna cut 3/4 of an inch. This is a very intact piece though, so I really don't think that we're gonna have too many loose pieces. And we're cutting. So we're cutting from 4.5 inches to 3/4 of an inch. And on this short side, we're cutting, again, lining up at 3/4 of an inch. We're cutting from the 3¼ inch mark to the 3/4 inch mark. Okay, and this one, I believe we have some loosey-goosey, there it is, right there. A loosey-goosey piece. Okay, so really, the only things that fell off of these two frame pieces, because we have this thing holding it all the way around, are these two. That's not bad at all. We don't have to use the press and seal for this first card. We're gonna flip this over and we're gonna add dimensionals. Now I'm bringing in both the small and the large dimensionals because you can cover a wider base of space with the larger dimensionals. It'll just make it go quicker. And we wanna make sure that we have a lot of support here, so don't be frugal in your dimensionals. Don't be Rachel in your dimensionals. Normally I don't use very many, but on a floating frame card, you definitely want to Bruno Bertucci or Nancy Forsberg this up. Those are the two people that I know of that use a ton of dimensionals, and they love them, that's all. Okay, let's go for some smaller areas now. Looks like we can get this one to, oops, it's sticking to my fingernail, to go right here. And then we need a couple maybe on this section because that's real skinny. And let's put one back here. Keep going here, maybe one right there. You don't want any have any dips in it anywhere, okay? You want it to look fully supported. Let's do another one over here. And I think I see one more space. There we go. So now what we do, and keep these in mind, don't lose them because they can make our frame more complete. Now you take the dimensionals off. The plus of doing it this way also, without taking that frame off the outer edge, is you don't have to use anything sticky on the foil paper. When I'm done with both of these, you'll be able to see what the sticky paper or press and seal did to the foil. It's actually kind of pretty, but just know that it will happen. Okay, so let's open this up so it lies flat, and then I'm just gonna look at my finished one. Okay, and it's gonna go on like this. You could use this card vertically, or you could use it horizontally. Horizontally, it gives you a look like that. Vertically, it gives you a look like that. So either way, on my finished card, I do have it this way, but this one I'm not going to fully finish. What I want to show you right now is just how cool that floating frame looks. Do you see that? It actually gives the illusion that it's kind of flying there. Like it's just floating in midair, right? That's hence the name, floating frame. I'm going to use my bone folder. Give this a good crease. Oh, there we go. Now it lies nice and flat. This is the other piece. Now let's do our puzzle. Where did these pieces come from? This one's stuck in here, and that was from there. Okay, let's see if we can get a mini dimensional on the back side and stick that back in place. So I would just kind of lay that puzzle piece back in there, stick this down, and now you've filled in that space with that missing section. This is the one that I believe we need, yeah, on the other side. Okay, so then with this one, pretend this is another card. You could do the same thing. and add this like that to the middle. And you've got another floating frame card. I did this one horizontally too. And my finished card, you'll be able to see here, see how that corner is missing? That's where I kind of covered that up because all the other corners looked nice and sharp, especially once we put that loose one in there. And this one just kind of looked weird. So that's where I stuck the sentiment just to kind of fill that in. But let's move on to the more advanced way of doing this. I'm glad you like that, you guys. Thank you. So here's another piece. Now for this one, what I did is I got more detailed. And I took and I cut along all these little areas here. And that actually helped because some of these were really thick and some had kind of little bumpy nodules on them. When you look really close up, it was just, I don't know, it looks better when you kind of trim this frame out in my mind. So we'll do that. We'll go all the way around. And if there's areas on the inside, like here, you see that? We can take and even cut into it to get rid of that extra white space, because the less white space you have and the more you can focus on the floating elements or the design portion of the card, I think the better it looks, the more detailed it looks, right? So let's continue to go around the card. Press and seal. If you don't own it, you can get it at your local grocery store, I believe. Most food places have it because it's a great product for just putting like a small amount on the top of a container and it seals it up. It's just really nice and sticky. I believe Jennifer McGuire, now I'm spreading a rumor in case this isn't true, but I thought it was Jennifer McGuire's husband who came up with it, like created it. I don't know. She's amazing. I admire her, and her husband's really super smart from what I can see in the videos that she shares about him. All right, so we've gone all the way around and we're looking for any other white space. I don't see any. So let's clean up our little mess here. But this time we have a little bit flimsier of a frame. If we cut and we don't have that outside piece there to help hold these pieces together, we're gonna have a lot more loose leaves. So the next step, and I forgot to grab this, is we need a piece, a quarter sheet of basic white cardstock or whatever color cardstock. This is just going to be kind of a support piece. And right now this piece is 5 1/4 by 4. It's just a little over 4 and it's a little under 5 1/4. Interesting. Okay. So we'll try to make it that same size. And then we'll lay our piece on top and see if that worked. A little under, right? A little over, a little under. We want it to be the same size. So let's lay this on top. This is going to be a very, yep, perfect. It's going to be a very helpful guide. So we don't want to stick this down to the white paper, but we want to have it in place. If you're normally doing a floating frame card, you will take your pieces and you'll just lay them on top of the piece that is the same size as your card base. So I highly recommend making it the same size. If you're going to do a floating frame card with other pieces, or let's say you even want to cut these down so they're all separate from each other, then this piece here should be 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. It's much easier to attach it to your finished card base if it's the exact same size. We're going to be working with a little bit of flimsiness, okay, because of the difference in the size, because this is smaller than the base of our card. So let's bring in press and seal. This is what an older style container looks like. I've had this for a long time and it still works really well. I'm going to move those little pieces off to the side and grab a fresh new one. And we'll just tear. We don't need it all. It's sticky, you guys. This is sticky stuff. Okay, so you don't feel the stickiness until it actually clings to something. So let's lay this down as straight as possible. Make sure that it's stretched out. Oh, I'm gonna trim it because it is so long. I'm trimming it off to the side, you guys. Sorry you can't see me doing it, but I just want to get this. I want to get it a smaller size, which I should have done instead of eating lunch in between videos. but you guys are going to forgive me, right? Oh, come on. Is it not going to work? There, we tore it instead. Now it's smaller, easier to manage. Okay, we're laying this down on top and we're going to press. And if it's not connected evenly, like let's say this edge, doesn't line up, it's fine. As long as you're outside the edges. We're pressing, pressing, pressing. Okay, so the stickiness you'll know is on the underside of this. When you peel this out of here, it's the underside of it that's the sticky part. Now we'll lift up the whole thing. And this is where I wish I had a sharper scissors that had a longer. Hang on, I have another one. I have ones from, oh gosh, my classes from a long time ago. It's my long bladed ribbon scissors. I think this one will be nice and sharp. Hopefully. So we're just going to trim right up to the edge, all the way around. You can hear a little bit of the paper coming off. It's so sharp, it's like cutting, what's 64 times 2? 128. It's like a 1/28 of an inch. It's really small. Okay, but you want to get right up to that cardstock all the way around. Don't have any pieces sticking out too far. We're on the last side, and then I want you to smooth it down one more time. So if you do not have this at home and you want to make these cards right away, like a few of you did after the first video, way to go, by the way. You can just do the first version that I shared with you. Yes, put it in your Instacart or your Amazon cart or whatever. Definitely get some of this stuff. Now we have one piece that's all intact and it's holding on to a base piece, but it's not permanently stuck to it. We'll be able to separate this from the white base in just a minute. Bring in the trimmer again, and let's do that frame all the way around again. So starting at 4.5, cutting up to 3/4 of an inch, turn it, starting at 3.25, trimming up to 3/4 of an inch. Again, we're on the long side, so we start at 4.5 and trim up to 3/4 of an inch. And then we've got one last short side, starting at 3/4 of an inch, 3.25 to 3/4 of an inch. And now we have, and if you have to get your scissors in there to separate them a little bit better, you totally can do that. Let's set this off to the side so we have room to work. So before I separate those, I just want to bring in the last pieces that we'll be using for the last two cards. So remember on the first video, I shared with you what we needed for those last two cards. For this one, we need a full envelope again. We have our two envelopes that are outside the kit that we're going to use to mail them or package them. We need a 1/2 a sheet of basic white plus 1/4 of a sheet of basic white if you're going to do it this way. We need the basic white card base. You can see the difference, right? There's a difference there. So this one we're going to do with the large frame. This one we're going to do with the smaller frame, and you'll see why in a minute. Then we also need this piece. We're going to flip it over and use the white side, and we have two small flowers. So setting this over here for now, let's take and grab our paper snips and just make sure that we've got all our corners. There we go. We've got our two pieces. So let's grab, this is for our larger frame. We have our card base ready. Oops, got a little wrinkle on that side, so we'll flip it over. So here's where it gets tricky because we don't have that outside edge anymore. You're going to separate the, oh gosh, there it is. You're going to separate the cling stuffy stuff, the press and seal, that's what it's called. Oh my goodness, Rachel, get your finger under there. I stuck it so hard. It's not coming apart. Hang on. Oh, I might have to get a tool. My fingernails I thought would be workable. There, we got it, we got it. You just have to get it started. Okay, so then flip it over because we don't want to stretch it out. And you're just going to peel this whole frame off the back side. Okay, and then we'll dimensional, we'll just put dimensionals on the back. So start with the big ones, fill in with the small, and you want to be generous again. This is actually very therapeutic, you guys, just sticking dimensionals on stuff. I should do this more often. Maybe that's why people love to use a lot of dimensionals, because it is so fun to stick these down. Holy cow. All right, I've got the larger pieces covered. Now we'll come in with the smaller dimensionals. You get dimensionals in your kit. In fact, you get regular size. So if you want to, you don't have to go to the online store to buy more dimensionals. You can just cut your larger ones down. That's what we used to do before the small ones became an available supply item. You just trim them down with your scissors before you peel them off. And you can use the edges of your dimensionals too, which I'll have to do on a couple of these places because they're very, very narrow in a few areas here. Let's do another one here. I'm going to do one right about here. And then I think there's a couple places I just want to make sure I get into. So I'm going to cut a strip like that from the edge, peel off the backing, and I'm just going to lay them in place. Oh, see that? Don't do that. So I'm just going to lay it in places where I need a thin strip, come in and trim. Here's another place. Again, you want it fully supported all the way around. Sorry, was that out of view? Sorry about that. And oh, here's another place right over here. Okay, I think we're good. This becomes trash, or you can use it for something else. There's always a way to use all of this stuff, right? So we come and we take off the backings. This is the hardest of the 6 cards. Again, you can do the easiest version, which I just shared with you, or you can step it up even more. Floating frame. It's so fun. You can take and stamp and die cut a bunch of images, color them in, and then rearrange them and do the floating frame technique with your own images. You don't even have to have something that's already done like this. But it is convenient to have it already done, already colored in. Peeling off the backings, just got a couple more here. There's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is the tough part. This is the tough part. With your picky tool, you can pick up to 4 backings at one time of the dimensional. Oh, well, maybe you're fast with it, but I'm not that fast. I like my fingernail that does not have polish on it because it's super sharp, and I just dig right under there. Okay, here we go. So you're going to take the strongest of your corners, and this one to me is a nice strong corner. And I already know that it's not perfectly centered. I know that this frame piece is slightly, let's just look at this frame over the top of it. It's going to have a little bit larger of a border on this side and this side than this side and this side. Okay, flatten that out even more. So I'm going to start with that corner and try not to stretch it. Lay it down. Pray. Lay it down. And if by chance, let's just say as you're laying this down, pieces aren't working out, it's okay to lift it up quickly again if you need to, or just say, you know what, my frame, the pieces are gonna have the ability to stretch and pull in different directions. Hang on a minute, I gotta turn it this way so I can see it better. Because like, let's say you have to shove this in more, you can do that because you have the flexibility of the press and seal. I keep forgetting the name of that, but I think we did it. I think we did it. I think we got that frame on there. Okay, normally, again, this is the same size as your card base, and then all you have to do is lay it upside down on here. You put this over the top, pick it up, and you're set. But the next step now, this is where you're gonna get a little shocked, possibly shocked, because watch what happens to the foil area of this one leaf. Did it do it? Yep, a little bit. A little bit. What's happening is when you pull off this press and seal, the foiled areas are leaving a little bit of an impression. Oh, there's that one piece again. They're leaving a little bit, I forgot to put a dimensional over that one. They're leaving a little bit of a impression into the foil, and you get that. There you can see it. It's a small, small honeycomb. Cool, right? Ooh, the monkey stamp would be cool. You're right. There's a new stamp, you guys, coming out. For demonstrators, they can get it already. And for the rest of you, you just have to wait a little bit longer. There we go. There's that. To finish off this card, we just take the flap of this envelope and we're going to cut it. So let's finish this one up. We're going to first cut the base area. So let's cut that out of the envelope. We want the base to be, and I'm just going to cut it to open it. The base is going to be for our next card, and it's going to be 5 3/8 inches. You got that in? Yeah, we can see that. By 4 1/8. So save that for something else. This piece here, though, we want to trim up just again to get rid of the score line. We'll just put it right about there so it's parallel to the other lines. Trim to get that scored section out of there. Then trim, I don't know, about a little less than an inch in. And now this piece is going to be 1 1/8, 1 1/8. So we're going to the 1 1/8 mark. By 3 1/4. And that'll be perfect for our sentiment piece that we haven't used yet. So let's pull that in. The sentiment is the largest one. Let's ink that up. It says, I'm grateful for all the little things you do. We want to stamp this a little bit off to the right side. So inking that well. It doesn't matter what side is what, it's up to you. But just hover over the top and have it a little bit off to the right more than the left, because we're going to trim into the left side. We're going to do a little banner cut in there, a little triangle cut to make it look like a banner. So at this point, we just take our paper snips. We cut in about 3/8 of an inch or so, maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then we aim to that point coming from each corner, and we have the perfect little banner. Let's use our bone folder to curl the ends because banners wave just a little bit. Let's grab our dimensionals again, and we're going to put a few behind. Let's start with one right there, and then we'll put one in the middle, and we'll put one off to the left. That way we know that we won't get too far on this piece if we put it here instead. Kind of like the thinking with the adhesive on the Z-fold card that we did in the first video. Okay, so now this gets covered up, this little area here gets covered up just slightly by, and oh, on the other card I had it flipped around. Oh well, we'll have two versions. So we're just going to go about 1/4 of an inch in, set that down, and we're going to grab our rhinestones. Let's add a large right here, yeah. And we're going to do 3 again. So a big, a small, and let's do another small over here in that corner. I'm going to show you the other version, the one that I did beforehand, so you can see the difference in leaves and how they were rearranged there. It's just that I flipped the frame around, but it still works, doesn't it? Good? Okay. That's the first card, and again, this was the simple version of it, keeping that frame in place so you wouldn't have to worry about the Press and seal. I have to learn that name. I keep forgetting it. Okay, we've already got some pieces prepared for our next one. Where does this goes over here? Okay, we have this piece prepared. We've flipped that one over and we've got a couple of flowers. Let's stamp that. And then this one is just going to get folded in half. So bring our trimmer back in because it's easier to put a score line into your cardstock than it is to fold by hand, in that you're breaking the fibers. When you do this, when you break the fibers by pressing a score line in there, it makes the fold so much cleaner. And I just folded again at 4 1/4 inches, which is half of 8 1/2. Let's take our bone folder, give it a good crease, make sure it's nice and sharp. This is the one where we're using the basic white card base. And I'm using it on this one because we're going to be far enough away. This white is not going to be as close to this white. In fact, we just have a little hint of white on the edges. And once we open the card, you're not going to be able to compare the whites to each other. So if you want to, you can certainly use the not so close to matching white that we sell in the online store called Basic White. Again, it's a little bit warmer than the cool white that you get in your card kits, but it still will work with little tricks like this. Now we're going to grab that piece and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use Rachel's fingers, and hey, it's working this time. Peel that off. It's a lot stiffer. We're not going to have trouble getting this one on. We're going to go ahead and add the dimensionals again. Because it's a stiffer piece, we really don't have to worry too much about putting dimensionals in every single area, but I am going to get it covered pretty well here. Let's move on to the small dimensionals and go one here, here. It does use a lot of dimensionals, you guys. There. I think we need one down here because that's a corner. And remember that missing piece that was on our other one? We'll set one there. And if you want to get real detailed, in fact, let's do that again. Let's make another strip and get into a couple hidden spots here that might fall down a bit if we don't get some boost in there. So let's stick one here. Oops. And here. And it's coming away from my backing. Oh well. And let's do another one. Well, you could be picky and get one in there too. Let's do that little spot. One more over here, and we're just gonna trust that that doesn't fall down too much. Okay, here we go. Let's take off the backings on this one. How many did I grab at once? You can get a lot if you've got a finger like mine. Yeah, I think there is a trick where you stick in, you jab the pointy end of your take your pick tool into the dimensional and it grabs that backing. I just have never perfected that. Okay, it's pretty stiff here. We're keeping the backing on. We're going to try to do this one the same exact way. So this was the corner that was kind of bare. Oh, I got to put this on the back. Trim and use the flat. Oh, there you go. There's my measurements. Wonderful. Now you're seeing them. Okay, let's put some adhesive along the back side here. Add that to the front of our card, so that we have about 1/8 of an inch of white showing all the way around. Now we can add this piece with that corner down here. Just center it. And you know, you could even put that piece off to one side and have it kind of like a fun little decorative piece down at the bottom of your card. You know, you can choose to do it differently than how I've done it. Bravo. See, a little bit of texture. It's okay though, right? Let's stamp that. Forgot to do that earlier. We're going to stamp that with the sentiment that says, enjoy your day. Again, I'm using the black ink, but if you want to, you can just use, you know, the ink that comes in the kit, which is the shaded spruce. So we've got the enjoy your day on there. You don't have to worry about making sure it's straight because it's a circle. Circles can rotate, right? So let's add our adhesive. In fact, this will be easiest. We'll just add a little bit of adhesive right in there, maybe a little bit up here, and we'll stick, let's do this too to make it, give it more support. We'll stick a dimensional right there, and that'll go in this bottom corner. Now is where you want to look at your words. You want to make sure that the word your is parallel to the top and bottom of the card, because that's your straight word. These pieces can get tucked here and there. I think this one, let's see, try to do it the same as my finished one. Do it towards the top, and we're going to tuck it under here like that. And then this one gets stuck on that way. So we'll put adhesive towards the top and stick it right here to fill in that little gap that happens on that little sentiment circle. All right. You could add some of these. You certainly could. I believe you'd have enough, but that is the 6th card. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my messy desk, and I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. Shove these things over. We're going to put them all out so you can see them all at once. You can see the different cards we came up with. These don't have anything fancy on the inside, but you certainly could fancy them up on the inside if you want to. You know, just take and be creative, right? Here's that card. And this one, can we see them all? Oh, that one's kind of hidden under my head. This one that looks like an upside down bird. We're not going to fit this next one. We'll get it. We'll get it, you guys. Then you can see them all at once. Maybe over here in this corner. We'll see here. We'll see. Nope. Let's move this one. No, we can't. I could widen out the camera, but then what happens is then you see my messy desk. And it's pretty messy. But that's pretty good. I think you can see a lot of them at once this way. And don't forget your extra envelopes that you buy. Now, paper pumpkin kits, I love them. I'm passionate about them. Remember, if you ever get a kit that you do not like, first of all, go to the Paper Pumpkin Fan Club on Facebook. It is an amazing place to get lots of inspiration. There's thousands of people there who are sharing all the time. And then you can call Stampin' Up! If you're still completely unhappy. You can also gift and donate your card kits if you'd rather not deal with returns. There's a lot of places like children's hospitals that would gladly take them. Schools, maybe for a room where kids do some fun extra, what do they call those things? I forget. I've been away from teaching for so long. Where they walk around the room and stations? I don't remember. Anyways, next month is the month where we have like this in color reveal in our Paper Pumpkin kit. The kit is called Exploring in Color. You'll want to get your subscription active or started between now and the 10th of May. Once the 10th of May is done, anybody who's active as a subscriber will get this kit shipped to them. And the cover of the box is actually going to be filled with in colors, but we're not going to have that reveal until May 2nd when the new catalog goes live. Anyways, make sure that you're subscribed. There is a link in the description of my video on YouTube, and I'll transfer those links over to Facebook, the recording afterwards. This is something that got put into our kit as a bonus this month. You can see it's made up of all these little fun lengths that have little divots in them, and what you can do is you can take and store your inks from your Paper Pumpkin kits, or you can take and rearrange these so that this area, maybe instead of storing inks, it can store your spools of thread. I mean, you can cater this to make the box work for whatever supplies you have. So how fun is that? I love it. That was just a fun little bonus that came. In the last video, I did say something about needing a couple colors. I was asking for Rocket Red, which I still haven't heard from anybody on if they have it or not, but I would love a full sheet of that, and I will gift you something in return because I am so desperate for Rocket Red. But the confetti tan has been covered. So many of you reached out to me, and I have confetti tan coming to me already, so thank you so much for that. So please don't worry about sending that to me if I didn't get back to you. Yeah, alrighty. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Today is free shipping day. Make sure that you take advantage of that. You can go to my website. I forgot to put this little vision up there so that you can see it. But you can go to my website at stampyourartout.com and click on any shop button that you see there. It will take you to the online store. Free shipping today in the US for orders over $75. So $75 is the mark you want to hit or go over, and then you'll get free shipping on your order today only. And there's a lot of fun discounted items that are leaving because the new catalog is coming into play on May 2nd. Speaking of the new catalog, that's this here. You will find my stamp set that I helped design on page 96. And by the end of this week, I will have more information for you on signing up for a class if you would like to participate in a class where I created 6 projects around that stamp set. You get to then watch a video, a how-to video for putting together those projects. You'll get a PDF that has information on it, measurements, all that kind of stuff, photos, and then you'll of course get the supplies for making those cards. If you are a demonstrator and you're going to purchase the stamp set on your own, you can certainly do that. Get your own sales that way. If you are not a demonstrator though and you would like to take my class, there will be information for how you can take the class, which includes my stamp set that is autographed. So there'll be an option for adding the stamp set into that order. And I think that's it. I forgot to say on the last video that we will see you live next week on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. That is April 26, 2023. Did I cover it all, Lisa? I hope so. I'm looking over at my comments to make sure. We got this video done in like 45 minutes, you guys. High five to Rachel. Woohoo! I'll let you all go, okay? Take care. And now I would like you all... Oh gosh, wait a minute. That seems so weird to say goodbye like this. Let's do this first. Okay, now I would like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining.